drive, a little more flat out, 110% if that's what it is. 189.9 miles today. The pit stop, as Jan told us, right after lap 32, but probably not later than lap 34. It's very precise. And the weather, well, there is a possibility of some shower activity in the area. Dark clouds lie off the edges of the speedway, but right now it looks like we're going to get 200 miles in without any rain whatsoever. Let's hope that's true. The field circulates through now and will go into order very shortly here. Gordon Johncock in the pace car picks up the pace a bit, and they begin to align into their rows of two. Pace car accelerates. Nigel pulls in alongside Little Al. Tracy and Fittipaldi just behind. Villeneuve-Vasser just behind that. Now off that final sweeping turn, they look at the pit straight, the front straight for the first time, and they watch for a green flag. There it is. Everybody on the brakes for the first set of corners.
And Al Unser Jr. was not going to be surprised by a run by Mansell. You clearly saw him accelerate as soon as he got onto that front straight. Look at the traffic jam here.
Jammed up in the chicane, but now they begin to string off. It looks like everybody is through safely. The one car straggling on the outside of the corner there. We'll check that one for you as we take a look at the front of the field with Al Unser Jr. pulling away. Willie T. Ribbs already in trouble in that first corner. No indication as to what. No obvious damage on the car. We'll keep track of Willie T. Al Unser Jr. pulls away. Nigel Mansell is in pursuit. On the backstretch for the first time.
Mansell needed to try and get ahead of Al Unser Jr. Try and get track position and use it to his advantage. He knows if Al Jr.'s ahead, like he is now, it can be a long, long, hard fight.
Nigel Mansell with much to prove here, the defending IndyCar champion. Classic battle between he and Fittipaldi in and out of the rain last year. Finally resolved in Fittipaldi's favor when Mansell slid off at the end of this straightaway here. Now he's in close pursuit of Little Al.
And you mentioned a classic battle. We had a titanic struggle yesterday during one of the best qualifying sessions I have seen for a long time between Al Jr., that was Willie T's car, between Al Jr. and Mansell. Took the pole position from each other. Mansell's team was celebrating, and on the very last lap that Al Jr. put in, he grabbed the pole back. It was spectacular.
Fittipaldi is third, Tracy is fourth, Robbie Gordon is fifth. Let's take a look at the start from the blimp overhead as Mansell moved to the outside, and look how fast they have to brake down into that corner. Look at the compression there.
Oh, look at Villeneuve. Goes over the curve on the inside. Look at the squeeze job there, and everybody gets away with it.
Well, at the same time, Vasser got right inside of Michael Andretti. Exciting start here, but now resolved very much in favor of Al Unser Jr. as the Penske cars of Fittipaldi and Tracy close on the Newman-Haas Lola of Nigel Mansell.
And an unusual sight of Al Jr. leading away from the pole. 5 times in 10 years is all he's managed to do that, be on the pole. A staggering statistic when you consider his success ratio. But he may be an even better racing driver now with Team Penske than he ever was in the past. What a thought.
IndyCar safety team trying to get Willie T. Ribbs' stricken vehicle off the edge of the road as we watch his teammate, Robbie Gordon, who runs in 5th place. Villeneuve is just behind him. Jacques had a spectacular year as well, and then Jimmy Vasser. Then Michael Andretti, then Brian Herta, and Mauricio Gugelmin.
Watching Gordon here, the Ford engine says he's matured so much his driving style has changed. Last year he was on the rev limiter all the time, broke the wheels away at the back, got wheel spin. Now he said he uses much more torque in this engine, a lot less gear change, and thinks that smoother style saves the tires and makes him a faster driver overall.
The report from IndyCar is that Willie T cannot get his car back into neutral. But couldn't they at least bump start it and get him going and then figure it out at the first pit stop?
Yes, unless he has a clutch problem. Look what we have here, Paul. Remember last year? Fittipaldi pressured and dogged Mansell until he made him make a mistake. Let's watch to see does something similar happen.
Mansell with pressure really from both sides as Al Unser Jr. pulls away and Fittipaldi pursues from behind. The rest of the order comes through. Still in close contact at the front of the field. In fact, very close contact all the way through 10th position.
Here's the drag race down the back straight, or the back curve. It is flat. It's almost 185 miles an hour here in qualifying. On this corner here, the left-hander is blindingly fast. Down one gear and blast on the power. This here is one of the slow second gear corners.
Al Unser Jr. has picked the pace up each lap. This last lap, his fastest, at 111.8 miles an hour. His first lap was at 108. He's just been steadily climbing. On board, Nigel Mansell.
Watch his outside wheels, how close they go to the curb. One gear change. That's third gear.
Watch the curve now at the end of this curving backstretch. Yeah, he uses a few feet of that.
All the way up on the curb on the left-hand side. Now here's the drag race. Down this front straight. 175 miles an hour on full tanks even.
And the frustrating part is that no matter how far he looks ahead, he can barely see Al Unser Jr., who is pulling away steadily, now nearly 4 seconds ahead of second place Nigel Mansell. So the race is underway here, and it is Al Unser Jr. that runs in front of Mansell. Back at the Budweiser G.I. Joe's 200 from Portland International Raceway, Al Unser Jr. runs in front, car 31, with a solid lead over the second place car of 4.5 seconds. There's second place Nigel Mansell, who is being pursued by Emerson Fittipaldi and then by Paul Tracy.
Now this is a good battle. We mentioned earlier the battle with Al Unser Jr. in qualifying. It's amazing how calm they are. Roger Penske told us a very amusing story last night that Al Jr., when he knew he wasn't on the pole, he said, give me one more lap. And as he started it, he got on his radio and said, here I come, here it goes. And he pulled it off, got the pole.
On board Michael Andretti, Jimmy Vasser smokes the brakes going into the festival chicane as Michael tries to close in. We'll stay right here. This is a battle for 7.
Two Reynard chassis here. Watch Vasser's right front. There it is, locks it up, out of control. Michael over the curb in the target Scotch Reynard.
Michael Andretti jumped the curb on both sides. The Reynards have already proven in his win at Surfers Paradise how really strong they are, so you can hop the curbs with them, but I wonder how long you can.
And isn't it amazing, Paul, that Michael has not been able to repeat that? He was so dominant so quickly in Australia. Very frustrated. He chases more grip in this car. I spoke to Mike Hull afterwards, and he said the one thing they work on for Michael is to give him more rear grip in particular, because he said he is an all-out power driver, jumps on the power and wants the rear of the car to support his actions.
Another unique view that we have is Brian Herta closes in behind Michael and Mauricio Gugelmin just behind Herta now. But this view right here, camera mounted on the side plate of the wing, if you look at the relationship of the right rear tire just in front of you to the chassis itself, it really gives you an idea of the roll rate of the car.
Oh, this is a great camera shot here. Now watch the left-hander. Watch them lean into it. Leans in. The suspension comes up, comes up, comes up. Where do you see when it hits a curb? But Vasser is quick through here. See Vasser in the Conseco Reynard, 4 or 5 car lengths ahead. But under braking, Michael seems to just edge a little bit closer. And look at Brian Herta. Boy, he's getting an education in A.J. Foyt's car following these two.
Willie T. Ribbs, by the way, was able to get restarted and is back in the action, though we're not sure if he was able to totally solve his gearbox problem. Brian Herta runs in 9th place, Gugelmin in 10th. Let's go pit side and Jan.
Well, Paul, there's already been a lot of radio communications going on in the Penske pit, as well as many pits up and down. Everyone is already turning their fuel meters inside the car all the way to the lean position. Some of these cars only got 1.47 miles per gallon in qualifying. Now they have to get 1.8. Roger Penske is one of those who's been telling his drivers, okay, let's turn that fuel, let's get it maximized early.
Remember, kart always gives you enough fuel to finish the race. If you do 1.8 miles to the gallon, that's the magic number.
Al Unser Jr. pulled a lap off at 112 as we watch Dominic Dobson get off for just a moment. 112.9, and then slowed it down a bit after that. He's brought his pace down just a little bit the last couple laps. Back to the Jimmy Vasser-Michael Andretti battle.
Great fight here. This is where Michael likes to close up. Remember, at the Festival of Curves, he dives down under braking. He's too far behind. He's not going to do it this time. See, Michael has the old helmet strap on the right side there, down under his shoulder. Look at this!
Whoa, Michael hits him! Michael tries to get inside Jimmy Vasser. Vasser closes the door. Michael's minus a left front. Jimmy Vasser stopped in the sand trap.
Way too ambitious for Michael to come from that far behind. The car is so badly damaged, he will not drive that back to the pits without severe damage. Here it is. Big lunge under braking. Watch Vasser turn in. There's the impact. That was a very ambitious move by Michael, which just didn't come off. Look, he was probably 6 car lengths behind. Not enough room. End of the day, Vasser and Michael.
Well, you said, Derek, on the straightaway itself that Michael was not nearly close enough.
Looked way too ambitious. Now, he hopes Vasser sees him and gives him all the room he needs. Right now, he knows he's in trouble. Nowhere to go. Look at Vasser, 3 feet into the air.
Do you think Vasser ever saw him?
Or certainly he didn't know he was at the apex, or else he would have tried to give him some room. Now, is Vasser's car damaged, or can he get that going back? We know how strong the Reynard is. We saw Michael bounce off everything in sight in Australia. Here's the in-car. Whoa.
Hard to believe that Vasser doesn't have serious damage as well. And look how close Herta was to getting tagged by Michael on the exit of the chicane.
So Brian Herta goes from 9th to 7th without actually having to make a brave move himself.
With all that kind of damage, why is Michael even trying to drive it back?
Saves him having to walk.
No other reason at all.
Unless he thinks he can get it repaired, which I doubt, because he's losing way too much time. Very unfortunate for Jimmy Vasser in the Conseco car as he sits there. He's now on the gravel trap, going to lose way too much time. But Michael is definitely on a wing and a prayer here.
Well, Michael Andretti limps back to the pits with no real chance of having that car repaired. It remains static at the front, with Al Unser Jr. leading Nigel Mansell now by nearly 7 seconds. Back at Portland with a very frustrated Michael Andretti as he talks to Chip Ganassi, his car owner, and tries to explain what happened down there. At the same time, IndyCar officials are trying to get Jimmy Vasser back onto the road. And Derek, that car may be intact. There's some damage there, but that's not terminal kind of stuff, is it?
I wouldn't think so. Now, if they can fire him up.
Here's the side we want to see, is what the left side. And it looks pretty good.
And he didn't fire it up. So for whatever reason, he didn't want to fire it up then and drive it all the way back. Look, he's asked them to have a look around, make sure the thing's okay. If there is damage, he doesn't want to make it even more serious.
He just knows when he looked to the right, Michael was down below him, and he has no idea what damage may exist behind him. So now we're back watching Nigel Mansell, who is receiving a lot of pressure from Emerson Fittipaldi, with Paul Tracy closing in too.
Totally different line there by Emerson. Much wider on the top of the hill left-hander. Paul Tracy follows Emerson. Tracy, we were surprised really that he didn't have a good crack at the pole, but oh, look at this. Emerson is quicker. He's beginning to show his nose to Mansell. The pressure and the heat is beginning to get turned up here on Nigel Mansell.
And it looks like this battle will take us to the chicane. Let's see if Fittipaldi can position for a maneuver inside the chicane. He holds back.
See, Mansell watched the mirrors. He looked left, looked right, wanted to know exactly where Emerson was, and he knew he wasn't going to have a shot at him.
All right, let's get an update from the pits, Jan.
Behind the right front. Michael, what happened out there between you and Vasser?
Well, I was attempting a pass because he was really holding me up, and he went way wide. I thought there was something wrong with him because he was over by the wall, and I almost thought he was letting me by. When I went to the inside, the next thing you know, I saw him out of the corner of my eye, and we hit, and I hit him, I think, right behind his right front with my left front, and that was it. I wish he would have